Terrifier 2 is an interesting case for me. I hadn't heard of this franchise until this movie was coming out in theaters, and people were raving about how it was one of the scariest horror movies ever. And, based on everything I heard about what goes on in it, and everything that went on in the earlier films, I actually bought into it. To the point that I was actually a little scared to go watch it in theaters. So, I didn't. It was so strange to me. I haven't been scared to see a horror movie since I was a kid, but the mystique around this movie threatened me. Of course, eventually I did decide to just watch all the Terrifier movies, and since I knew what I was getting into, the fear factor was lessened. But now that I'm coming back to Terrifier 2 in preparation for the third film, which is coming out today, by the way, what do I think? Now that I'm less afraid, does this movie have anything else to offer me? Actually, yes. First off, Art the Clown is a legend. I wasn't so sure before, but after this movie, I think he has truly cemented himself as a horror icon. He is just so fucking funny in this movie, assuming you have a sick sense of humor like me. Seeing him butt-ass naked in a laundromat while playing patty cake with an invisible girl is hilarious. I love the whole glasses bit, and the comedic timing on that horn scene is immaculate. David Howard Thornton's acting really brings Art to life, and makes him a lot of fun to watch. I especially liked whenever something would get him to break character. Seeing him get genuinely mad was great, and I really liked how, even though I thought he was funny, he was still incredibly menacing. And look, I know I said the fear factor was lessened for me because I was prepared for the worst, but Brooke's kill is the exception. This is horrendous, it just never lets up. I feel so bad for this woman. It's pretty effective horror to me. To add more salt to the wound, her mother comes home and has to see Art's work, which is just so fucking sad. We also get to see more supernatural elements to Art's character in this movie. I know some people hate the supernatural stuff and wish Art was just a human, but I love it. It leads to so many fun visuals and just engages me more. I've seen enough slasher movies try to keep things grounded, and I'm sick of it. Let's get creative again. That's why I'm glad that Art takes cues from Freddy Krueger, doing dream shit and clearly having a blast torturing people. That's icon shit right there. The whole clown cafe scene is gold, and comes with a real fucking earworm. I can't get that song out of my head. But okay, Art and the gore are well done here. That's not so much different from the other films. What separates this film from the others is its character work. This movie actually has well-written characters that I liked. Sienna and her brother Jonathan really bring this movie together. You can really tell how much they care about each other, even through their disagreements. They're always supporting each other, and that was wholesome to me. Having characters that I actually like means that I actually care about the plot, and unlike the other films, the plot actually goes somewhere. This is kind of why I don't like the original Terrifier. It definitely goes balls to the walls with gore, and Art is pretty entertaining there, but there's almost no story to tie things together. I only barely root for the humans because I don't want anyone to be on the opposite end of Art's torture. Not because they're particularly likable or relatable. So I'm just not all that engaged in that movie. In contrast, I really wanted to see Sienna and Jonathan survive. And Sienna is actually a badass when she dons the angel armor and takes out Art. I especially love Art's little nod of acknowledgement that he got beat. That is such a cool character decision, I love it. With good characters, now I can properly care about the lore and appreciate the threat of Art even more. I really don't want him to kill these characters, there are stakes now! Aside from those characters, we also have Sienna's mom. She can sometimes feel too mean, but there are enough scenes that show how much she truly cares about her kids and just wants them to be safe. So I ultimately felt pretty bad when she died. I grew to dislike Sienna's friend who drugged her and then got mad when she was scared of the side effects, but even she has a few moments that show how much she actually cares about Sienna. That's something I like about this movie. The characters aren't one-dimensional stereotypes. They feel a little more realistic with their flaws. And finally, I just love the vibe and soundtrack of this movie. It definitely packs a lot of Halloween in here, it gets points for that, but also we have this great haunted maze they go through, and the clown cafe set is fun. It feels strange to call anything with this much gore fun, but what can I say? They mix their horror and comedy well. If the Terrifier franchise continues to go in this direction, I think we're all in for a good time. If you can stomach the gore, I highly recommend watching Terrifier 2 this Halloween.